Hey everyone! Today we're looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse, the Flash Jay Garrick figure. So typically I'd like to tell you guys where I get these figures, but this time I honestly cannot remember. I believe I purchased this off of Whatnot, but I could not remember the seller's name for the life of me. But regardless, the figure looks really good in the box here. It's been out for a few months now, so I'm sure you guys have already seen reviews of this figure out. But just to take a look here, really good image of a really good, look inside the box of Jay Garrick, already, posed like he's running. And then as far as accessories are concerned, it looks like he only comes with his extra pair of hands, his trading card back here. He does have his typical DC stand down at the bottom. And then also it looks like he has the Speed Force effects for his arms and his legs. So that's pretty cool. On the side, DC Multiverse, the Flash Jay Garrick. And on the back, we get this nice image of Jay Garrick, kind of looking like, I think this is Alex Ross art. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe not. It does have that, that hyper-realistic look to it, but I'm not 100% sure. And then on the side, again, the Flash Jay Garrick, and the front of the box again. So let's go ahead and open up this figure and see if we like him or not. All right, and getting Jay Garrick out of the box here. First impressions. I think this is a very, this is a good figure. I'm not, absolutely impressed by it. I'm not blown away by the figure by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm also not disappointed. It does have a few issues that I will point out, but overall, I think it's, a fine rendition of, classic Jay Garrick Flash. I definitely think it's a huge improvement from the Dark Knight's Metal version that they released prior to this. Not as, and that's more of a personal opinion only because I just don't like that design, and I also don't think that it's ever a good idea to just release a very specific design of a character like that before you release their just classic generic vanilla design. I would always prefer that first before I get, the variations. And that's not how this happened. But either way, I'm glad we have this one here. So just to get it out of the way, accessories. He comes with the Speed Force effects you see here in front of you. So that's so it's two sets that are meant for the ankle, a set that's meant for the ankles, and another set that's meant for his biceps / basically his arms. I'm honestly not sure if I have this set up right because they're really loose. They don't feel very sturdy on here, so it might be that I don't have these set up correctly. But I mean, they're cool and they're really cool for photography, so I'll give them that. And then he also comes with an extra pair of hands. I believe the fisted hands are what comes on the figure. So this is the fisted hands, looking really nice. And then he also comes with the hands that you see on him right now, the flat, running hands. So he comes with those. But otherwise, no other accessories except for his, typical McFarlane base that he has, right here. You have all seen this. And then also, he comes with his trading card, which is looking, really nice here. I'm not sure if this is Alex Ross art. I think it might be, but I'm not entirely sure. And then here's a look at the back. Pause now if you want to read this. But let's go ahead and get into the actual articulation and the sculpt and the paint and see what we think about this figure in detail. All right, so to start with the sculpt here, I think the sculpt is it's good. It's definitely, again, not blowing my mind. It's very minimal, but again, the design is also very minimal for this Flash. So to get a good look here, we got a really good, very subtle, but it's got a good texture to the fabric of the shirt. There's a very, very mild texture in there that you can see. There it is. All over the red here. It really looks good on the fabric, but you have to get a really good look at it. It could have done with a little more shadowing effect with the paint here to really make that fabric texturing pop more, because it's there. You can really see it when you get close, but it just doesn't pop the way I'm sure they intended. They probably need a little bit of shadowing here to help with that, like a wash or something over the figure to help bring it out more. But then also, again, it's very, very minimal. We have the pants here who also have this textured fabric looking design on it. But again, you know, it just needed that wash on top, so to really bring it out. Nice boots. And then the head sculpt is a good head sculpt. Pop the head off actually and show you guys a better look. But I think the head sculpt is, actually, you know what? Ooh, uh-oh. Messed up with the lights. Here, it'll be easier if I zoom in the camera, bring Jay Garrick over here, and you can get a better look at the head sculpt, and it's looking pretty nice here. My only issue with it is, and this is like more of a personal thing, I always envisioned Jay Garrick being like with white hair. I've always, in any time I've seen him in media, comics, you know, besides like the classic 30s comics, I always remember Jay having white hair. I always preferred that depiction of the older Jay Garrick. So that's like really my only issue here. This is definitely like in his heyday, younger, in his prime Jay Garrick Flash. But still, you know, I wish it had white hair, but not a big deal. And again, I can always just customize him to have the white hair, so no big deal. As far as articulation is concerned, this Jay Garrick, you know, is pretty standard DC Multiverse articulation, so pretty good for the most part. If we, you know, pop this back in, we can see he has a pretty good ab crunch, pretty standard, you know, DC Multiverse ab crunch here. Goes forward and back really far. Then he can do a T-pose pretty well. I keep having issues plugging in these hands. They always seem to slip out. But here it looks in his little T-pose here. And then has decent, okay butterfly. Not really. It's not really a butterfly joint, actually. But he does have, you know, nice tilt. And then obviously 360 degrees on the arms, 90 degree, oh, more than 90, double jointed elbows here. Has good wrist articulation, can go horizontal and vertical. And then we have, so we have very wide stance here, but the leg seems to want to pop off on me every once in a while. So this is already the third time this happens. I just pop it back in, we're all good. But it gets a good wide stance if I put him down here and utilize the ankle articulation and not accidentally turn the light off. You can see he can stand pretty well. He could probably go even wider if I really pushed it with that ankle articulation, but I'm not gonna push my luck so far. And then obviously down here, he can, kick far up, he can kick back ever so slightly. He does have double jointed elbows, and he also has nicely hidden ankle pivot here. Really, really good. And then he also does have toe articulation, which is really nice. And then the head, it can look up, but it does have a bit of an issue looking as far up as we would like for some running stances. So sometimes you do have to pull it out and kind of just half it on there. And then it does a little bit of better job of getting you that that head up articulation, so you can do some of those more dynamic running poses. But overall, again, pretty standard DC Multiverse articulation, not bad at all. I think it's still, you know, pretty good figure. All right, and on to the size comparison. First, let's put him next to two famous speedsters. We have our Barry Allen from our DC Multiverse line, and then we also have our Eobard Thawne Reverse Flash here. So these guys all sitting next to each other, or standing next to each other rather, they look really nice. Jay is the tallest of the three, Flash and Reverse Flash both being approximately the same height, because they are the same basic body buck. Just again here posed slightly differently. But again, I think Jay is the tallest of the three. Yeah, not by too much, but he is the tallest of the three. So we have that. And then moving right along, let's go ahead and compare this Jay Garrick Flash to two other characters from this classic golden era of DC Comics. First, let's compare him to the Alan Scott Green Lantern figure. And he is on a McFarlane base right now, so he might have a fraction of like an inch more than he normally would have. But Jay and Alan are looking at about the same height. So if you subtract the slight bit from the DC Multiverse stand, I guess Jay is a little bit taller than him, but again, they look to be about the same height. And then next to also Big Blue here, Superman, from that, again, the classic first appearance look. This is, again, Jay is the tallest of the three. And I think it has something to do with his helmet too. But again, this figure, especially next to this Superman and this Green Lantern, I really dig how these three look next to each other. I would love to see a first appearance Batman and a first appearance Wonder Woman come out in the line soon, because that would really help to form out that classic Justice League. That would be really cool to see that. Maybe a Stargirl, other, JSA members, a classic Dr. Fate, who knows. But seeing these three next to each other looks really, really cool. All right, so overall, I'm pretty happy with this figure. I think this is a pretty accurate and honest depiction of Jay Garrick. I think that there are some things that could have been done differently. For example, my preference would have been that he would have had white hair, but that's, again, more of a design preference, nothing really on the figure itself. I think the figure doesn't disappoint, but again, it doesn't blow you away either. It's just a pretty, on par, passable McFarlane release. And, even with that, I'm still digging it. Could have used a wash to really bring out that texture on the suit, but overall, still happy with this figure. So I think you should probably pick it up if you can find him out in the wild or online, because he is definitely a must-have if you are a Flash fan, and if you need to complete your Flash family. Definitely Jay Garrick is a must-have in that collection, so pick him up just for that alone. But again, I've had a great time with you guys, as always. Remember to like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and go ahead and hit the notification bell as well so you can get updates every time I upload a video. But thanks as always, and have a great time, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.